New study explains why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They like that. They want it to stay that way because it suits them.
Men are just awful people.
Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too. 1 in 5 men say they have no close friendship.
Guys, I'm thinking about lonely men and I'm crying. The narrative sold to men is f your feelings, figure it out, toughen up.
Incredible.
New study explains why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
Some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right.
Yeah, men, stop listening to that derogatory music.
Just like, do you remember when the boomers were like, look, violent music and video games is making children angry and violent. And it's just like, okay, boomer, that's never true. Relax. We know that they praise Satan if you play the music video backwards and you listen to it really slowly. If you listen to the song slowly, it goes, oh, I love sucking Satan's dick. But also, you're crazy. Okay, you have lead in your brain. You were alive when gasoline was leaded. You're crazy. Chill.
Then maybe you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and women being single and lonely kind of shows there might be something wrong with society. Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles, I love how that's my source, I read about it on the internet, research shows that people from individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift towards white-collar jobs, and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness. In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the hikikomori. Did I say that right? I don't care. Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young-
Okay, how many people, how many Coomers do you think heard her say hikikomori, or however the fuck she said it, and just like went back and forth and listened to that like 3 times? Because it was like kind of cute how she said it. You know that there are some weebs out there that were like, oh my god, Shuanhead saying Japanese sounding word. Blah. And you're just like, bro! She said that so wrong. I'm sure she did. But you know that they went back and listened to it.
Men who completely withdraw from society, secluding themselves in their
Hi,
rooms
Musa.
for months and years at a time. In 2010, there was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan. And today, it's estimated to be about 1.55 million. And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with eye contact and reintegrate them back into society.
I don't like this video. It's making me really uncomfortable. Is anybody having a hard time with this video, or is that just like my own ish coming out? Because I feel deeply uncomfortable. She's like just looking at me for so long. It's like, hello? What is she looking at? What is she looking at? It's not me. She is hot. Maybe that's why it makes me nervous.
So basically, if you want to know America's future, look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology. RIP to the king. Although technology makes things easier, it can also make us more atomized. Why go to the mall when I can just tap, 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 buy a new microphone, and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my social interaction I need from Twitter and streamers?
Sounds like I need more of these videos to get used to eye contact. Maybe. Okay. It's hard.
Why go on dates and bother meeting women when I could just tap, 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 Google big and get 2 million results? Or see my high school crush's holes on OnlyFans for only $5. Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction, and hey, who even needs a real woman when you could just have an AI girlfriend? We're f***ed. We're so f***ed. Dating apps really are the great Satan, and I'm convinced they've completely broken men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general are picky, and I mean, naturally we are pickier. You know, we're the ones who carry the babies. At least for now. But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification of love and the window shopping of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men. Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too. According to Vox, Americans are currently in a friendship recession, and men are being hit the hardest. The percentage of men who reported having at least 6 close friendships fell in half since the 90s. 1 in 5 men say they have no close friendships.
Oh, this makes me so sad. Holy sh**.
Looking at all these statistics, the explosion of figures like Andrew Tate is not surprising at all.
I believe being a man is a blessing because it starts so difficult. I believe that every man is born without any value at all. I think that the world's never going to think you're important unless you make yourself important.
And recently, a new study came out about how young men are moving towards the right. And
Although, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that that study is like severely under question. It sounds like it's not actually the study at all. Just so everyone understands, this study, that's
Unless
why
you make
I
yourself
posted
important.
it, and I actually deleted it recently off my Twitter. It sounds like this study specifically was like data taken from a study about addiction that also included this. Then they pulled it. They removed anyone who included moderate or radical, and then just posted the findings to have kind of like a really extreme finding. So yeah, be very cautious of this study specifically. This makes me feel sad for pick me. True. Holy shit.
a new study
But I've been picked.
came out about how young men are moving towards the right. And every other month, we, the liberal, sockdem, leftists, whatever you want to call the space online, performs the same song and dance. What's wrong with men? Why is this happening? Why don't we have a leftist Andrew Tate? We need to push men to the left. Andrew Tate rarely, if ever, talks about politics. Andrew Tate talks about men, and the left only talks about men when they talk about Andrew Tate. A few months ago, during one of the monthly song and dance
I don't know if I fully agree with that one. I definitely think Andrew Tate talks about politics, but maybe she was not super familiar with all of Andrew Tate. Especially recently, he's really been leaning into certain like political talking points, right? But it's going to be like social commentary politics. He's not going to be he's not saying stupid shit like Pearl of being like, yeah, repeal the second death, whatever the fuck that means. I don't know if anyone can find this for me and help me find it, but there's like a graph, it's like a visual graph that basically tracks the number of people in single domiciles from 1925 to 2000 and like, I want to say 18. And it's actually insane. Like, people don't even know how to live with each other anymore, which is like so devoid of everything that it seems like essential to good development for humans. Like, we know, for example, that if you take a kid and you provide them everything that they need, but they don't have like a warm body to touch and snuggle with, and you don't expose them to language, then they go feral. They're actually like have like serious mental handicaps. And if you don't get to them in time, they literally can't ever learn to speak properly. They can learn like words, but they can't learn like syntax, which is like grammar and the way that like language flows. Actually like crazy. Is it unhealthy to not be able to live with each other or not being able to live alone? I think both. I think not being able to like manage any time alone is probably really unhealthy, but also not knowing how to function living with another person, also like pretty unhealthy. I think you like need to be able to like know how to like navigate life by yourself, but like, bro, it's gonna be a fucking rough ride for you if you can't figure out how to live with others. And like, I understand why people like who do live alone, I understand that because I've had lots and lots of roommates, and definitely, especially when I was single, I was like getting to a point of being like, fuck roommates, man. Like, it's so annoying, like having to deal with people because people are really bad at living with each other. But I also think it's like really spooky to me. We need to find a way of like, at least if we like, we have all these single domiciles, that there's like forced integration, like community interaction. I don't know how to do, not forced, but like make it voluntary and enjoyable, obviously. So increasingly people are like, look, it'd be better if you've lived alone or with roommates, but let's be honest, nobody can afford to move out. I don't think living alone is a prerequisite. I think living separate of their parents are, right? Like, for example, Nick lived with I think he lived alone when I met him, but he also lived with roommates. It wasn't like an appeal to me that Nick lived alone, because then he later got roommates, and it was like completely the same for me. But it did matter to me that he was able to live separate from his parents. Being able to live alone, yeah, being like emotionally able to handle it, sure, yeah, but that's for everyone.
Some progressive people I follow made the mistake of addressing men's issues, and the even bigger mistake of pointing their finger at their own spaces for not doing.
Oh yeah, the reason young men flock to alt-right and MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. This is such a based tweet. We need to be more compassionate to them for our own sake. True!
Enough to address said men's issues.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare company Cigna indicating that men are the loneliest generation. And addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining.
That's not a man! Why is there stock image of a woman?
To women, but it does mean that we should be.
That's another woman! Why is there two women there?
Be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against.
Genders are performance, okay? That's the point. You perform your gender so that I can assume it.
Against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Vosh, who's a popular streamer, had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, "I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't."
The responses to these tweets and this content were very normal, level-headed, and respectful. Me when I lie. LMAO.
Hasanabi. LMAO. God, this guy.
I'm gonna start working on being less white.
Did you guys hear Hasanabi's take on the Kai CNAT issue? Where he's like, bro, it's just like a $3 Dorito, like, bag. Huh? They're assaulting people. What do you mean? God, he's such... I can't understand people finding this spineless loser in any way appealing. It boggles my mind. Every time I try to tune in and be like, don't be Black Pill, like, just because he has beef with Destiny or whatever, doesn't mean he's a bad guy. Like, I'll tune into his streams, and I'm just like, literally, I just want to... Okay, that's what I want to do. And do what on the roof? Stargaze, obviously. What do you think I would mean by that? Just stargaze. I just want to disconnect from the internet, obviously. Weirdos. Oh my god.
LMAO, cry about it.
Shark Zero, as a guy who's always had more difficulty dating and making connections than my peers through life, these comments about loneliness and men always hurt more. True!
Boo f***ing who? Oh no, poor widow men having problems. Boo f***ing who? Grow the f*** up then.
Bro, imagine if anyone said this about any, like, feminine-related issue, being like, oh, boo f***ing who, women? You're getting a buy a gun and dress appropriately, dumb. Grow up. Grow the f*** up. It's just like, how do you not see the problem with this? I don't understand. I don't understand how you can not see the problem with what you're saying. It's horrible. Literally just replace widow men with any other demographic other than white women, because people might not care about that either. And you'd be like, that's pretty appalling. Boo-hoo, girls. Get pepper spray, forehead. It's just like... have you ever... Hey, men. Feminist to men. Have you ever tried not being lonely? Have you ever tried not being depressed? I don't know. Have you thought about smiling more? Might make you feel a little better. Might make people like you. Idiots. Idiots! Dionysus, this is not the time. I know what you're about to do. This is not the time or place. This is definitely a conversation between you and your therapist, please. Yeah, literally. Boo-hoo, black people. So what if you were enslaved and redlining only ended like 50 years ago? Grow the f*** up. It's like, what? Crazy. Have men considered being... You can't see it underneath my face. Smarter! Have you ever tried thinking about not having a... Ever thought about trying that one? Mr. Man Boy? Could probably solve all your problems if you just cut that right off, Have you tried being smart? Think about it, men. Just think about it. You got a loneliness problem? Just think about it. Bro! Hashtag thanks, I'm cured. Hashtag all problems resolved. Thank you. According to modern media, women's issues are a systemic problem we need to tackle, and men's issues are pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Apparently. They're like, look, is it the case that through all of history, the narrative sold to men is, f*** your feelings, figure it out, you're the man. Toughen up. Yes! Is it the case that the reason why men are struggling so much with social intimacy and being like an emotionally intimate partner with their girlfriend, and the fact that they're struggling to have good connections with their friends, maybe as a result of hundreds of years of programming of toughen up, stop whining, nobody cares about your problems? Probably, maybe a little bit. Solution to hundreds of years of the way that we've socialized men to engage with the world, particularly the emotional landscape of the world? Have you ever tried being smarter? Bro! We're watching
Men
Shu's
consider
video.
being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad, pathetic lives. Sounds like a personal problem.
No way! Okay.
Is the lack of compassion for men in the room with us right now?
How do they not realize the same meme's been used for? Is systemic oppression in the room with us right now? Bro! What is wrong with you? Maybe men are just not good people then. Have you ever thought about the fact that you deserve it? You ever thought about that suicidality that's creeping up on you every day because you're so lonely and you know that nobody will care about your problems? Have you ever thought about that? You deserve that? What? And every single man's response is, yeah, I think about that every day. Thanks. That's kind of why the suicidality, but thank you. Yeah, I have thought about that. I thought about it and said, maybe I'm just not worth loving. And I've come to the conclusion of, maybe I am worth loving, but nobody's ever going to give it to me. So I just have to accept my lot in life.
Maybe men are just not good people then. I'm so fucking tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal problem. Yeah, no, their fifis are not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have to be punished because they can't get their shit together as human beings. Grow the up.
You know, men, we're all out here trying to implement laws to make sure that because men are lonely, we're going to enact an enforced marriage law that women must personally carry on the responsibility of all of men's fifis. They must be forced to marry men so that they're not lonely. This is truly the standard male opinion on politics. Obviously. And I'm for that world, okay? Forced marriage. It's worked so well in the past, okay?
Bronze and Blaze super chatted $1.99. Misandry at its finest.
Truly misandry at its finest. Peak misandry, okay? High quality, okay? Guys, today I'm gonna do a sales pitch, okay? You guys ready? Today I have for you the highest grade misandry that I've been able to find online for a while, okay? And here's the thing. You might think, misandry? That's everywhere. I can buy it any place I'd like to go. But no, my misandry that I have for you today is the highest, purest quality. 99% pure misandry, okay? You don't get that purity elsewhere, okay? You might be able to go to Twitter and see some nasty person say some insensitive shit about, like, male rates, and they'll be like, yeah, well, women attempt more, okay? But what I have for you today is questions like, have males thought about being smarter? Have they ever considered that they're just not good people? Okay? High quality, feeding misandry. Here today, all you have to do to get access to this high quality misandry is pay $5 on my subscription system on YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon, or Kick, okay? If you write the words !sub, it will link you to a Prime system where you can give me $2.50 for free. And you can get high quality misandry today. Is it non-GMO misandry? Absolutely. It is organic, pure, right from the earth. I into the earth, said, that looks like a dude, then pulled it out, and that's what I'm giving you, okay? Only $5! Look. At the price of less than a full Starbucks drink, you can have misandry today. All right, let's keep going. Sorry, we are on a big misandry buyout, all right? Misandry has been sold out. Thank you, guys. We sold all the misandry we needed to today. Misandry will continue for another year. Congratulations, everyone. Yay! Pat yourselves on the back, okay? You did a good job. Well done.
Why are we trying to win these entitled little predators over? The left isn't for them. That's why they go right in the first place. We're all lonely and alienated. It's young men going to the alt-right in droves. The problem isn't our messaging, it's them. It's literally not our problem. Men flock to Andrew Tate not because they're lonely, but because they're bigots. Hope this helps. Nah, it's just misogynists being louder than before and not getting laid. LOL. Cry harder, losers. 90% of all homicides recorded worldwide were committed by male perpetrators. We should just get rid of all males, to be honest. This includes trans women, as they still retain male.
Wow! Some high quality. 90% of all homicides are committed by men. So we should 50% of the planet. Who's going to do the killing? Will it be men? Or will it be women? Because if all of the women, all of the men, I think that probably 98% of homicides globally will now be caused by women. I don't know if she understands. And then what happens then? The world you've created for yourself, honey, doesn't make sense. Say we kill all the men because they're committing all the homicides, but that means we're committing a bunch of homicides. So now women are responsible for like basically almost all, that 50% of the population is a lot of homicide. And now all the women are responsible for all the homicides. So do we kill all the women? Is this just a long con plan to just exterminate the human race? She just didn't think about it, man. I like how the thing she's retweeting is misandry is bad. Imagine me being like, yeah, rape is bad. And somebody retweeting me like, 90% of we should, you think rape is bad? I think that all of women should be murdered immediately because they're responsible for almost all of humans being born. It's just like, bro. Misandry's bad. True. It's not even that how is this contentious? That's it, guys. I'm going on a Twitter bend where I'm just going to post misandry is bad every month to see what level of insanity I get.
Tumblr feminists who were like, all men are sexist and male tears, are evil, blah, 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 back in the day. Well, this is them now. Should've just let me cook back then. Listen up, chuckle.
True.
I'm white, socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, got a weird balding pattern, and have bad skin.
Sign me up.
You know what I didn't do? Choose to become a fascist, because I recognize most of the sort that look like me are the problem.
No, you're just autistic. And you got convinced to do a weird belief. Okay? Chill, bruh. You're just trying to be a token. Relax. I'm socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, and got a weird balding pattern, and have bad skin. You should have just ended there. Alright, well. You know what I didn't do? I didn't choose to become a fascist. That's why we should organize people together to eradicate all men. Not fascistically, though. Very egalitarianly and humanely. I recognize that most people that are part of the problem look like me. I also insert tampons up my butthole so that women know that I empathize with their struggles, okay? I'm such a based feminist ally that I bought those things that make you feel contractions, and once a month I force myself to have 3 to 5 days of the period cramp pain thing, and I just wear it around, and I cry, and I also wear a tampon up my butthole while I'm wearing this thing so that women know that I stan them. What did you just walk into? I'm watching a shoe on head video, which means I'm off the fucking chain again. Tell this dude the rad fams ain't gonna have sex with you, bro. Only way to bring in all of it into misandry is to eliminate the object of it altogether. Hitler logic. Look, I wouldn't be an anti-Semite if we just killed all the Jews. Look, Ku Klux Klan member, I wouldn't be racist against black people if we just killed all of the black people. Then I'd have no one to be racist towards. It's like, oh, I figured it out. That's how we solve racism and sexism. Thanks, rad fams. We wouldn't have to be misandrist if men didn't exist. So true, queen. So true.
I may be hideously ugly and pathetic, but at least I'm not a fascist. Thank you for your input, buddy. You're, really...
You mean the sentence or the life? Obviously the sentence, not the life. Chill, okay? I'm not that edgy. Not that edgy.
Help in the situation. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them, for our own sake. I'm sorry, but how is respect women brain-dead advice? What advice? Don't rape?
Yeah, brain-dead advice. Holy shit. Alright, just by the way, when somebody necessarily clips me saying those things very out of context, just to be clear, you're all here. I have your names. I'm looking at them. Fizco, Simon Allen, Jack Daxter, Callum McKell. I will be calling on you when somebody says, this is Erudite's actual position, okay? I am not actually saying that we would solve racism by killing all other races, okay? You are here. You are my witness. You're all on the list. If you left, you're on the fucking list with me, okay? You're going on the list.
Don't be a racist is bad advice. Help, I have no friends or community. I feel suicidal. Have you considered not raping? Act like a decent fucking human being. It's not hard. Is brain dead advice? Brain dead advice like get consent and don't be a Nazi and women are people.
I love how these people be like, brain dead advice, like this really brain dead advice. Yes. Yeah, turns out don't be a Nazi and women are people isn't super helpful advice for young men. It's not really the problem, right? In the loneliness epidemic specifically. Hey, that's just me. I'm a dirty little pick-me.
Walking up to men struggling with loneliness.
So is Stubby though. Stubby's in my chat. Stubby's in my chat and you're a pick-me too. I think I saw Melissa. Is Melissa in here? I think Melissa's in here. And probably Casey will be here or will stand me. You're all pick-me's too. You're in here with me. You're just as guilty. Did you laugh at that? Did you agree?
And depression, like
Kids, don't be.
Incredible. Here's my actual advice I would give to my teen boys as a leftist. 1. Always get enthusiastic consent. 2. Save the planet. 3. Don't say that. It's actually kind of like, what the f is this?
My hand is a heat-seeking missile for mosquitoes. Look at it. Here, do you want to eat it, Freya? Eat it. Good job. She did eat it, by the way. Did you guys see that? Ninja murder! I'm gonna get banned for doing straight up murder on stream. I'm not gonna eat it. I fed it to the dog. That's gross. I want to kill mosquitoes, not eat them.
How does this address men and their issues? It doesn't. Why does their advice always seem
Mosquitoes are insane right now. They're so bad. I literally can't even walk my dog. Okay, sorry.
Become a liberal? Hey men, here's how to fix all your problems. Agree with me politically. Men flock to the MRA movement because they're the largest
girls do watch me, Kyla, okay? I have a pretty large female viewership, by the way. Last time I checked, it was like 8%, and I think it's only been going up. So I actually do have a lot of females who watch me, okay? Because there's lots of base, normal, healthy women that are really sick of all the bullshit that people are talking about all the time. And they're like, I just want to, like, be a girl and have fun and do whatever the I want to do, and if I do more masculine things, people are gonna be like, base, that's cool. And if I want to do feminine things, people are gonna be like, base, that's cool, okay? 8%. 8% on YouTube is really good, just to be clear. Absolutely. I'm not about, it's actually pretty good. I'm a girl, and I'm watching. Thank you, Makey. There's Lily. Lily's in here often, too. Women are people isn't even advice, lol. It's a commandment and threat disguised as friendly reminder. A passive-aggressive term neo-puritanical progressives use to excuse their threats to conformity. Damn, Tuna Chip's going off in the chat. Also, hi, Tuna Chip. How's it doing?
Beneficiaries of MRA.
You're almost up to 13%. And then, when Erudite hits 13% female viewers, the world will explode. That comet is coming, okay? Misandry will be on 90% sale. Is Kyla man-hating or actually agreeing with Shu? Not only am I agreeing with Shu, I'm taking it to the next level, okay? Me too, Erudite. Hypa! There we go! Another one! Everyone just changed their gender in the profile. If everyone changed their gender, we could get the female watchership to 90%. Can you imagine if I organized all of my viewers to change their gender sneakily so that I get 90% female viewership? That way when people try to say that I'm being a pick-me, I can be like, what do you mean? 90% of my YouTube viewers are women, and then I can show them the graph. That would be such a W. Everyone's brain would break. They'd be like, there's no way. There's no way this is true. Oh, that'd be awesome. All right. The tribe won. You know what that means. If you're saying that would be dope, let's do it. I went 90% off misogyny. All right.
Imagine saying women flock to women's rights activism because they're the biggest beneficiaries of women's rights. No f***ing shit. Let's be honest. Aside from procreation purposes, men have become obsolete. Most women can find other methods of achieving orgasm without a man there. And speaking as a man, Most of us are horrid to be around, and I don't blame any woman for just saying, no thanks. Oh my god, dude, this is what every—
Wait, is this a response to Brianna Wu? Yeah, I've replied to Brianna Wu.
Any woman for just saying, no thanks. Oh my god, dude, this is what every Just Pearly Things tweet looks like to me. Just with the genders swapped. This is pathetic. You know what fixes male loneliness? Jerking off. As a man, I'll say this. Sit down, shut up, and beat one out.
Start working on being less white.
Interesting problems. Super chatted $5. You could just Photoshop it. Would be less work, and have the same effect.
Yeah, but that would be lying. Are you kidding me? Beat one out, you'll feel better, I promise. Look, men, I know you're lonely and committing at an extremely high rate, but just jerk one out. Make your hand your friend. It'll fix all your problems. Trust me. Is this contributing to really toxic, unhelpful narratives for males to, like, occupy within? Yes. Is it basically just assuming that men are dirty f***ing pigs who only care about their dick? Yes. Is that actively harmful to young men to be assumed as just sex pigs who can be made happy by just having their pee-pee touched? Yes. Is it dehumanizing? Kind of. We do want our pee-pees touched. Just to be clear, we just would also like friends, okay? Pee-pee touching, good. Friendship, also good. We want both.
I'll feel better, I promise. Yeah, guys, just beat one out. Just off. Just watch porn. Batman will be very disappointed in all of you.
Batman talks to you about overcoming your pornography addiction. That is so funny.
Do not settle for a cheap and empty imitation of love. You deserve real love. You are not defined by your addiction. You are a person with hopes, dreams, and the potential for greatness.
She wants to offload the lying to us. True. Yeah, chronic is always a good thing. True. I've heard chronic are just definitely the happiest people on the planet.
It's so funny how men feel entitled to a girlfriend. No, you this freak. When one side is like, wanting a girlfriend is entitlement, and the other side is like, here's how to get a girlfriend. I don't know, bro. What happened to males just kicking the bucket? Now they just come on here and try to make their loneliness and misery into some social justice issue.
What happened? What happened to Jewish people just kicking the bucket? Now they just come on here and they try to make their loneliness and misery into some kind of social justice issue. What happened to women just kicking the bucket? Now they come on here and they try to make their loneliness and misery into some kind of social justice issue? Bro, if you can't replace it with other groups, you should probably not be saying it, especially when it's deeply condemnatory and very bigoted. Holy! Good old Miss Sandra's talk. I gotta say, as somebody who spent a lot of time around some pretty intense misogyny in the red pill, I have yet to hear the misogyny take. Interesting. Maybe that's because if you did all the women, then the guys would have to, their peepees would have to be touched by other dudes, and the red pill would think that that's gay. Okay? And they don't want that. They're like, look, guys, we would fight women, but then we'd have to do gay shit. Oh,
trust me. Men are still kicking the bucket. And they're not giving mind-blowing advice like just to be a liberal. They're outright dismissing men's issues completely. It's not our job to educate them. Since men created the problem, they need to take steps to fix it. We have other things to care about. Men can figure out their own problems that they created. Again, it's not women's jobs to change how men are socialized. It's a man issue and y'all need to address that amongst yourselves. Men created their own problems. Men can solve their own problems. The left is busy. Why do
holy shit. Insert. Yeah, but the patriarchy. Yeah, but the God of the Gaps is here, so we don't have to help men. Because God, aka the patriarchy in this case.
Does the well-being of other people concern me? Leftist, by the way. It's all systemic issues and societal factors and blah 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 until it's a man and then suddenly it's pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. This problem is just a consequence of the patriarchy. Now take a wild guess about which gender created the patriarchy. Solve your own problems and leave women alone. These people rightly mock the bootstraps rhetoric until the subject is a man and then it's bootstraps all the way down. They would never talk about any other group this way. It's wild. And it's kind of like both sides are telling men to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, but one is like, I'll show you how, and the other is like, off. And when they're not telling men to straight up f off, they're giving the 200 IQ answer that nobody has ever heard before. Just show your emotions, bro. And I'm not dismissing this problem, okay? I've made videos talking about this. Oh, you're crying at your grandfather's funeral? Okay, it. And studies have shown that men are scared to be vulnerable, even around the homies. And can you blame them when the media says stupid like this?
UK builders go woke. Study finds 3/4 of tradesmen discuss their feelings and with colleagues, while 2/3 shun the fried breakfast, and nearly half say they are history buffs. What? Why are all of these three things together? What study? What researcher was like, look, there's 3 things I need to know about men. Tradesmen. Number 1, do they talk about their feelings? Number 2, do they still eat fried goods for breakfast? And number 3, do they love history? These are the 3 important research questions that I have in the UK on tradesmen today. Bro, what? Why are these all together? What research is this? Why are they all in one study? What the How? I don't think Nico Pluto is understanding my jokes. Nico, I am joking, just so you know.
Is it woke to open up to your fellow men and discuss history? Men are socialized to believe strength, dominance, and stoicism are behaviors of a real man. Is it any surprise that men are lonely and have less friends nowadays? You have to be vulnerable to make friends. Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting men. Now, while a lot of this may be true, men have been socialized this way for centuries, and this is all
Bays! Are we the same?
Relatively a new phenomenon. Toxic masculinity
is fried breakfast street for men? I don't know. I don't know why they're asking about fried breakfast. I don't know. What is fried breakfast? Is there any, like, I guess, are hash browns fried breakfast? Do you guys fry eggs in the UK? Wait, but I don't mean pan fry. I mean, like, oil deep fry. I'm assuming. I don't know. That study was run by Doctor Who. You wouldn't understand. I will never understand Brit Bongers. That is true. Did you watch the XQC do the worm? I did not.
Has existed forever. If anything, there's less toxic masculinity nowadays. The cultural embrace of, like, gender nonconformity, femboys, Harry Styles in a dress, Barbie movie, blah 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 blah. My point is, toxic masculinity did not just appear in the mid-2010s. But social media did, and the internet did, and the rise of dating apps did, and the housing crisis, and living in a country where the wealth inequality is worse than it was during the Gilded Age. That all happened recently. Oh my god, the privileged life these poor little boys must have, that their biggest problem is being lonely, i.e. so insufferable that nobody wants to sleep with them. So much more pressing than the poor distribution of wealth causing people to suffer food and housing insecurity. Boo-hoo, you're lonely and have no friends and are suicidal, wah. Because feeling alienated under capitalism apparently isn't a thing. People are working harder and longer while wages have been stagnant, men have been dropping out of college like flies, and what does that get you? Poor men. Which, since women are doing amazing in college now, and many are now out-earning men, this most of the time leads to single men, which then leads to lonely men, which leads to depressed men, which leads to the high suicide rate.
And, just so it's clear, when the two genders are jobless, men experience extremely high levels of, like, negative impact on their mental health and, like, happiness when they're jobless, whereas women don't. Because we tend to feel bad when we, like, exist within, like, a disparity between what we expect that we should be doing versus who we are, right? This is why, like, women are really unhappy with social media to some degree, probably, because there's, like, standards of beauty that are just, like, they look at models whose face and body cost $500,000 and they're like, wait, I don't look like that. It's like, yeah, no shit. Of course you don't. You don't have $500,000. Okay. Same with men being like, I need to occupy the role, which I've been told for the last 2 centuries, of being the breadwinner, and I am increasingly less capable of doing so because of economic times and education disparities. Therefore, I feel sad because the only value I've ever been offered by society ever as a man has been my wallet, my GDP contribution. That's the only space I get to live in as a guy to have any level of value to society. Literally, that's it. And I am increasingly devalued on that thing. I matter in this metric less and less and less and less and less. And then we're like, why are all these men sad? Why are they attracted to agitated sneaker who offer them fast cash and yes man them on being masculine? It's like, look, if I wanted to make a hypothetical Narnia world, if I wanted to make Narnia, and I want to convince all of the boy fawns to be sad, miserable, to kill themselves, and be interested in, like, cryptocurrency, I would devalue masculinity, tie their entire value to GDP production, never care about like emotions or feelings, never teach men how to express or what healthy things like anger look like. And then when they turn 16, I'll say, God don't give a fuck about your feelings, grow up, you're a dude, lead. And then I'd send them off into the world. And then I'd give them guns, okay? And the current god-awful 9-to-5 shift work that we offer them. Not even, shift work is not 9 to 5. You get what I'm saying. I'd give them trades jobs. And then I'd wreck the economy. Then I'd take a big old shit on the economy, okay? I'd eat all of the Turkish delight. There'd be none left. That I'll be working desperately for like one little piddle of Turkish delight. And I'd say, fuck you, man. Everyone else can get Turkish delight for themselves, but you're only valuable for the Turkish delight you bring home. But also, everyone now can bring home Turkish delight, and also it's harder for you to bring home Turkish delight. But remember, it's the only reason we care about you. So you better bring home that Turkish delight. It's like, oh yeah, fair enough.
In my opinion, leftism at a policy level does a great job addressing the shitty material conditions that in part lead to the problems that men are facing, but then absolutely drops the ball when it comes to everything and anything related to men's cultural issues. Many such cases. And why would a struggling man even want to move left when the left appears actively hostile to them?
The question of whether or not the hashtag online left is enough to appeal to hashtag men has become the question du jour. And
why does this guy look like a vampire? Why does this guy look like he just finished drinking the blood of some, like, innocent virgin, okay? He was just like... Anyway, it's time to talk about the patriarchy. Who is this? I don't even know. I'm not saying that he doesn't have base things to say, just to be clear. I'm just saying there's a lot of red going on.
Actively hostile to them.
Sorry.
the question of whether or not the hashtag online left is enough to appeal to hashtag men has become the question du jour. And, like, men have most of the money, authority, and do most of the murdering and assaulting.
The average young man...
Okay, I knew I wasn't gonna like his opinion. Look, I tried to give him a fair shake. I was like, just because he looks like a vampire, it doesn't mean a vampire thumb. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have good takes. But unsurprisingly, Vampire Boy had the worst takes ever. Just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You have all of the resources available to you. Is it the case that there are basically any male-centered welfare or, like, non-profits? Not really. Very few of them, in fact. But honestly, you guys have opportunities endlessly. You have all of the support you could ever have. Is there any sort of program that's really male-dominated, male-centric, and is celebrated as a exclusively good thing anymore? Look, we have football. What more do you need? Watch your sports and one out. You'll feel better tomorrow, I promise, man. We've solved the problem. We did it!
Man in America isn't Jeff Bezos. Also, why did this motherfucker just FBI crime statistics at me? Men do the most murder. Okay?
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They like that. They want it to stay that way.
You're a man! It's so weird. It's so weird. They like that. What do you mean they? Do you mean we? It's like, no, hold on. I have 6 tampons up my asshole, okay? I am not we. They are they. I am not in the in-group, okay? I'm a vampire. I have 6 tampons up my asshole and I just drank blood, okay? I am not one of them. He is thought slime and they suck on all fronts. This is the dumbest leftist out there, at least in the running, okay? But they really love turning up their red saturation a lot. Like a lot. And you know, it's a vibe. In fact, it's such a vibe. Hold on. Which way does this need to go? No, wrong way. Men are just awful people. Men don't need anything, okay? Men have everything. They should just pull themselves up by the bootstraps and figure out their own problems, idiots. If you guys are at the top of the pecking order, there's no one there to save you, because literally, you have to save yourself. Thank you. Thank you.
It suits them. Because of the stuff, telling people they like that.
Okay?
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They like that. They want it to stay that way because it suits them. Because of the stuff, telling people they're special and deserve all the nice that they have, that's going to be an easier sell 10 times out of 10 than like saying, hey, maybe you should have less stuff and other people should have more.
You want to know what men want to hear? They want to hear that they deserve everything, that all things should be theirs, and they're actually only sad because we're taking back what we all should have had originally. Yes, when I'm saying men, I do mean only white men. Am I neglecting the fact that incels are an extremely racially and politically diverse group of people? I am. Have I looked into any of the research on the male loneliness epidemic? No, I have not. I have not looked into it at all. All I care about is outlining that white men are terrible and they deserve nothing. That's the best I could do, guys. Okay, I couldn't get my eyes just red. I'm trying to look like him. Okay, this is the best I got. I don't know what to do. It's so weird. Hold on, I'm gonna fix it.
10 than like saying, hey, maybe you should have less stuff and other people should have more.
Leftism is when you don't have a lot of stuff. We're gonna take your stuff. You sound like a 65-year-old Fox News boomer's idea of what the left is. Are you a CIA agent? The right is saying to men, you will own a house. You will have beautiful children with your loving wife. You will have privacy. You will have free speech. You will own things, and you will be happy. And the left is like,
they like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But don't get me wrong, Republicans will not do shit. The Republican Party will not do shit. The establishment in general will not do shit to help any of this. But the right is, at least rhetorically, offering men something other than nothing or the eternal HR department. Every time this discord comes up, there's people like, we need a leftist Andrew Tate. We need masculine role models on the left. But the fact is, it's hard for progressives to organically appeal to men, because a large part of progressivism is oppressive hierarchies, and
No, let's just say it. Progressivism hates masculinity. Like, it's just decided that masculinity in general is negative, but also at the same time will still celebrate a bunch of stuff. They just won't call it masculinity. They'll just call it, like, professionalism or something. Anything that has any appearance of being, like, masculine, they're gonna have a problem with it, right? This is why there isn't a left Andrew Tate, because to be a left Andrew Tate, you have to allow him to, like, celebrate some level of, like, healthy. He has to be able to like channel some level of like competitiveness and like that high kind of like violent energy. And we're not about that on the left. We don't like it. Okay? We don't like the idea of men being like, I just want to sweat on each other and throw shit and kick things and break things. Yes, healthy violence. Like sports. Sports is healthy violence. Like kickboxing. It's healthy violence. Absolutely. Rough and tumble play. Healthy violence. Oh, no, don't generalize all progressives like that. Sure, I am a progressive, okay? When I say they, I mean we.
men are oppressors. Making progressivism look appealing to young men is an uphill battle from the start. And although it's funny to laugh at insane people on Twitter, as always, there have been a lot of left-wing content creators talking about men's issues. If you would have told me this would be a thing 9 years ago, I would not believe you, because anyone talking about men's issues back in the day was called an MRA or a pick-me. But lately I have seen a lot of good pro-men lefty content, and I'll put some links to some below. I don't agree with all the points they say, but I recommend watching. It's much better than...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But the issue is a lot of this lefty pro-men content, it's always framed around, how do we get them? As if men are just pawns and tools for your personal politics. How do we make the left more appealing to men? How do we stop lonely men from moving to Andrew Tate? Instead of just, how do we help men? And I think that's a really big issue. Both sides seem to treat men as political fodder. Disposable soldiers.
Well, in fairness, politics necessarily treats all people like political fodder. The politic engine only cares about whether or not it can utilize you for greater politicking and power. So, are they treating men like political fodder? Yes, but that's because anything political treats people like fodder. Hand jobs are a winning solution. Men have just stopped caring, but keep this BS up and we'll revolt eventually. No, we're going to satiate you with AI girlfriends, okay? Is there a difference between left and leftist? Yes. Typically. Leftist is usually to capture, like, the really extreme, like, radical end. Whereas, like, left is just, like, any one center of left. It's okay, I'm a regressive. It's okay, I'm an accelerationist. The alt-left, truly.
In the culture war and real war. Anyway, misandry is real. Oh good, finally! And while it doesn't systemically affect cis men, it most certainly affects trans men. Oh. Y'all talking about misandry doesn't harm men, and trans men are right there reading this shit, by the way. I see, now we only care about-
Look, I hate men. Except for trans men. Ooh, woo, I love those guys. I do feel bad. And like, yeah, misandry is a problem for trans men. But those cis guys, am I right? Especially if they're white, if they had the dicks originally, then fuck them, alright? You came with a dick. You're fine. Just touch it. You'll figure it all out. Just think about it. The whole problem is trans men don't have a big old dick to touch to fix all their problems, okay? They gotta build one. It's much trickier. Yeah, they can't fix their problems one semen blast at a time. I'm gonna destroy the wall of misandry by my semen! Ah! Okay, sorry. This is now a really gross picture in my head. Never mind, I'm kidding, I'm joking, retcon that. I'm not talking about using a cum blaster to destroy the Berlin Wall. It's fine. The Berlin Wall came down in a very different way. It had nothing to do with the semen blast. But it should have. You are smarter than this. What are you doing? I'm having fun. What are you talking about? Wait, what? Nico Pluto is mad. Sometimes I think you're mad at me, and sometimes I think you're happy with me. It's hard to tell.
Misandry because it affects trans men. Everyone stop! It's affecting a group I care about now. I love how the rhetoric just like evolved overnight from male tears to cis male tears. And I just have to ask, why aren't you including trans men in your misandry,
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. We knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to like have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. And what's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid. But I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men.
Welcome to being a man. Here's your complimentary isolation and yellow pillow. I love how even when he's experiencing—
Ew, Drew. I'm not mad. Why do you keep saying? I'm listening. Why do you keep saying that I'm smarter than this, though? Erudite scares me sometimes. Good. He was so base till that. I mean, I think he's base at the end of the day. Like, it's fine. He's allowed to say, like, just to be clear, women have reasons to be upset. There are systemic issues that affect women that are valid. And marginalized people have lots of valid criticisms and concerns about the world. These are all actually valid. The issue is, every group has systemic issues that they can point to and be an issue. And every one of them is valid in talking about it. Why? Yeah, I'm asking you why. Not me, why you why?
The issues of being a man. He's like, this doesn't invalidate people hating men. Come on, bro. Men struggling don't want to be lectured about the patriarchy. They don't want to be told it's all their fault. They don't want to be told they're part of the problem because first of all, they're not. The average 20-year-old didn't build society. They go to work, come home, off to sissy hypno fetish porn, and go to bed like everyone else. I've talked about this before.
Man bad, woman sad. Man bad, woman sad. And don't come near me, my cum is mad.
But a lot of men's value comes from the money they make, unfortunately.
I'm working on patriarchy 2.0. I'm working on a new and improved patriarchy, and this form of patriarchy, it's the same as the old patriarchy, but men can wear pink. Yes.
Men are natural providers, and if they have nobody to provide for, they get into findom or send random girls on the internet money. I'm just kidding, but the fact is, a lot of men simply feel like they don't have a purpose anymore. Whether a job or a career that's fulfilling and pays well, or a woman or family to protect and take care of and provide for, men are lacking purpose. And a man will crawl through broken glass for a purpose. But you know who does make them feel like they have a purpose? No, not him.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you.
The absolute audacity to act shocked that Andrew Tate is scooping these guys up after a decade of lol male tears is insane. Andrew Tate isn't the solution to men's problems. but he is talking to them. The fact is, you did not care about them for years, and even now you just want to recruit them, not help them. And that's why you will fail. And hey, maybe I'll be the Andrew Tate of the left. Men, listen up. Wash your penis. So I guess I'll leave you guys with a question. Why do you think male loneliness has been increasing? What are your solutions for this problem? And are you dealing with loneliness? And I will see you guys next time with a new video.
God, I love her. Okay, my suspicion is that people are going to be very upset about this video specifically because she's too like pro Andrew Tate, and she doesn't like throw him under the bus nearly hard enough. That's my suspicion. This video has been out for 4 hours, so I'm super curious to see how it gets received. It's possible that like people have just moved on from like the men's issue stuff that nobody will care, but I suspect a lot of people might be upset that she didn't throw Andrew Tate under the bus enough, basically. Yeah. Refresh and check out the new comments, okay? Being a man is listening to everyone's problems and not being able to express your own. We're all in this shit, yet somehow this is us versus them. Being lonely is so detrimental. Thanks, Shu. I've actually felt some loneliness lately, and I'm glad somebody is pointing this out, and I'm not really crazy. Thanks for opening this while I'm crying about how absolutely alone I am. Love you, Shu. My best friend sadly became a statistic a few months back and took his life. Oh, this comment section is gonna make me cry. No, it took us all by surprise because he was doing great, but clearly he was suppressing his demons, and they eventually won. I miss him greatly, and we all need to address our demons and get help before they take us with them. Sakes. Oh, not much gets me, but I don't know why. That comment is getting me. Oh, man. I'm Jordan Petersoning! Guys, I'm thinking about lonely men and I'm crying. Oh, it's so sad.
It's making you emotional. Talk about that.
Well, God, you know, it's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are. And certainly many young men are in that category. I thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
Oh, holy shit. You're doing benzos? I'm not Petersoning like that, okay? He just always cries when he talks about like how sad and lonely men are, but it's actually like so true. Like every time I think about the fact like I would really love to have sons or daughters, like obviously either, but I specifically like when I think about my daughter, I think about like certain things and being like, God, I hope she doesn't like get sold out into this, and like, you know, there's some things that I think about like that are gonna be hardships for her. And when I think about like me having sons, I'm like, God, I hope that they're like naturally really excel at stuff because it's so tough. Yeah. Like, the saddest thing to me is thinking about the fact that most men so rarely get like a kind word to them that they all remember compliments. Like, if you give a guy a compliment, he'll remember it forever. Whereas, like, for women, the reality is like, I get complimented so much, like, I just don't remember them unless they're like really, really, really unique. And like, the problem is when I make this compliment comment, every single guy agrees with me. It's so sad. It's so sad. Like, horrifically sad. Because the reality is, like, people don't have compassion towards men. That's just, like, the reality of it. Like, the reality is that this is the one part why I like the red pill. Is that, like, the only, and why I like Jordan Peterson a lot more than I like the red pill is pre-2020 Jordan Peterson especially, although even now he's just way better on everything, which is that he was willing to look at men and be like, nobody cares.
The Artful Robber
And that's
super
wrong.
chatted $5. Thanks for caring, smile.
But that is your reality, right? And as a result, how do we become heroes, at least to ourselves? Like, how do we, knowing that society doesn't care, and that, like, there is no bed upon which you can, like, lay your sorrows and, like, have your back rubbed where people will actually care. Based on that, as a man, how do you make the world a better place anyways? Like, how do you be brave enough to, like, render meaning from the pain and suffering so that when you look back at your life, you can go, I'm really proud of myself. At least I see myself complexly and I go, God damn, I love that guy. He's worth something.
Do not settle for a cheap and empty imitation of love. You deserve real love. You are not defined by your addiction. You are a person with hopes, dreams, and the potential for greatness.